Welcome to the Powerful One podcast. I am joined with Summer Bronco today. Summer is at 16 years old. She's been training Muay Thai for 12 years. She's a 7-time Muay Thai champion. She's competed all over the world, including competing twice for the U.S. Muay Thai national team and even placing with a silver medal in 2016. So she's very accomplished in the sport of Muay Thai. She's competed all over the world, like I said, and she's only just getting started in the sport. We have a really good conversation talking about her finding her passion so early in life, the hardest parts of fighting, her dedication not only in Muay Thai but in life, and as well as all the lessons that Muay Thai has taught her, and so much more. Thank you guys for tuning in and enjoy. Oh, here with Summer Bronco. What's up, Summer?
Hey, what's up?
Summer is a Muay Thai fighter. She's 16. She's been training a long time, and I connected with her. I know her coach, Jose. So I just connected with her through Instagram just because I'm really fascinated with like her journey and everything like that. I just think it's really cool what she's doing. Summer. So how long have you been training Muay Thai?
I started when I was like 5 or 6, so that's been about 12 years so far.
Nice.
It's been a long 12 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a long time. Have you always been training with Jose at Eastside?
So that's a long journey. So when I was about 5 or 6, I started at this gym, which slowly when I was training there, it kind of turned into like a self-defense gym. So like I slowly started growing away from Muay Thai. So that's the reason why I left that gym. And I went to another gym, and that gym just didn't work for me either, just because there was no kids there for me to train with. It was all adults.
Right.
So it wasn't benefiting me at all for my fights. So then I moved to another gym and I found Jose, and I've been with him ever since. So
Nice. So at what point did you start like competing? At what point did you like kind of stop doing it? I guess I guess just start like really intensely training. You're like, shit, I'm pretty good at this.
So my first fight, like my first real fight, around when I was like 8 years old, and I lost. I did so bad that fight. And after that, I met Jose, and that's when he really got me going with serious fights and all that. So I would say around like 9 or 10 is when I started like seriously competing and traveling to go. When I was around like 12 years old, that's when I went to go to Thailand to fight. So started really young when I was training and fighting, big.
Yeah. So how many fights have you had?
I think my record is 11-4. Yeah.
Nice. So was this something that like had you always wanted to train like martial arts and Muay Thai, or was it like your parents' choice, or what kind of got you into it?
I remember seeing stuff on like TV, and I wanted to try Muay Thai. So my parents brought me to a gym that did Muay Thai, and I don't remember me ever not doing Muay Thai. Like I grew up with it, and yeah, I don't know.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's see. And then you said you're 16 now.
Yeah.
So actually, I'm curious about the. So you just came back not too long ago, right, from the national competition, right?
Yeah, IFMA in Turkey.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that. That's such a cool experience. You did it twice, right? 2 times.
Yeah. So in 2016 was the first ever junior. So junior kids can fight in IFMA. In 2016, I brought home a silver medal. I fought against Belgium in the first round, and then finals I fought against Thailand. Against Thailand, that's right. And then I lost against Thailand against a super close fight. And then when I went last year to Turkey, I fought Italy, and I beat her. And then the second round, I lost 28-29 to Russia. So I unfortunately didn't bring a medal home, but I thought it was a great experience. The first year that I went to IFMA, none of my teammates went, so it was just me.
Right.
And other kids from all over the U.S. And then when I went to Turkey, 3 other of my teammates actually went. So it was kind of nice to have,
Yeah.
not only my coach there, but also my teammates there too. So
yeah, that's super cool. Is that the so you said you also trained in Thailand too? Was the first one? Where was the first one?
In Bangkok, Thailand. Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. Damn. So you did the one in Turkey and the one in Thailand?
Yep.
Damn, what was like the best part about each of them?
I just think it was really cool fighting in Thailand. I think like obviously a person, training Muay Thai, the dream is to fight in Thailand.
Yeah.
Like everybody wants to fight in Thailand. So I thought fighting in Thailand just the whole experience is really cool. And also fighting people from, all over from different countries. I also thought that was really cool. And I also thought it was really cool to, be teammates with people from, your own country, because actually some people on the team I fought before.
Damn.
And you would think it'd be awkward, but really, we're all good friends, win or lose. In the end, we're all teammates, fighting, representing our country. So we're all teammates, we're all good, we're all friends. So I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, that's such a cool thing, like being able to represent the country and like compete against other countries. Like that's such a, so is that, I guess, is that for Muay Thai the closest thing to the to Olympic? Because Muay
Yeah,
Thai in the Olympics?
not yet. I know they're trying to make that, a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty much the Olympics, scoring and all that, and the same concepts like medals and all, semifinals, finals, and all that. So yeah.
Damn. So let's say Muay Thai does get in the Olympics. Is that on your, would that be on your radar?
Yeah, I mean, that would also be something I'd really like to do. I think in the future, if obviously I want to keep up Muay Thai, but if I do keep up Muay Thai, I think my ultimate dream or my ultimate goal that I want to do is fighting one championship. That's what I really want to do.
So
Yeah.
would you want to do like the striking, just the striking, or like an MMA base of the one for one?
I think I would just stick to Muay Thai, maybe kickboxing. I think my favorite thing to do in Muay Thai is throwing elbows and knees and all that. So I don't think I would want to do kickboxing that much.
Yeah.
And I only know basic jiu-jitsu. I don't think I would want to get into jiu-jitsu and judo and all that. So I think I would just want to stick to Muay Thai if I fought in one championship.
Yeah, I feel like your guys East Side is so well known. You guys are one of, I mean, like how many people did you say you had from your team that were representing the US?
It was 4, including me.
Yeah, so that's pretty crazy. You guys are definitely known as one of the, the best like academies or gyms in the country, which is super cool. So yeah, what's like your favorite part about Muay Thai, would you say?
I mean, obviously, I like the culture of Muay Thai. I like, especially going to Thailand, you can really see the culture and how much they train Muay Thai and like live, breathe, and eat
Yeah.
Muay Thai. So I really like the culture, and it taught me a lot of respect, and it taught me a lot of staying motivated. And I don't know, I just feel like doing Muay Thai, it's not all about like competing and fighting. It also teaches you more than that, like life lessons and all that. So
Absolutely, absolutely. What's like, so something that's crazy to me is, obviously I've only had a couple fights, but just like the nerves before a fight are something that's just so crazy. And then once you're in there, like the reason that I was drawn to martial arts is because it's just like it's just you. It's no team sport. I mean, like granted, you have a team that you train with and you prepare with, but when you're in there, it's really just you. And so that's like the really cool thing. It's just such like a mental battle. It's just you versus you, and that's one of the crazy things to me. So how is the process for you of like just fighting in general, and like how do you combat the nerves, and what's like your process for dealing with that?
I definitely get nervous and I definitely get anxious. Um, I try. I don't know. Once I get in the ring, I'm fine. Like once I do something,
Right.
I'm good.
Right.
But like before, I get nervous, so I just have to like get it over with. Like fight day is probably the worst day because the day feels like it goes on forever because you just want to fight already. But once I get in the ring, my mind is just on the fight and that's it. Like I'm not nervous about anything. I feel excited. I feel pumped up. And yeah, I really feel like it's just a mental thing. It's not even about you against your opponent. It's really about you against you. And if you can mentally beat yourself and lose the fight to your opponent just because you mentally beat yourself.
Right. Yeah, it's such a crazy thing, and I know a lot of people who follow me on Instagram are going to be excited about this episode just because they're like they follow my fights and my journey, but like my level is not, it's not yours. So that's why it'll be cool for people to see like what it's really like when it's just like the Muay Thai, like the fighting life. So I mean, is this something that you can see yourself doing forever? I mean, as far as just training, but then also, I guess, how many times do you compete a year typically? And is that something you still really like doing?
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna, stop anytime soon. And I was really planning on competing a lot this year, but obviously,
Right.
the whole thing. But I try to compete a couple times a year. I think last summer I competed a couple times. In the summertime is obviously easier because there's no school, so I get to compete a lot.
Right.
But I try to get as many fights as I can in a year, because and I had 1 year where I only fought once, and it was probably like one of my worst fights because I had so much rust. So
Right,
it's good to stay constantly busy in the ring. But I mean, yeah, I try to compete as much as I can, and I do plan on, competing for as long as I can. I already do coach a little bit, and that's
nice.
kind of what I want to do. Like when I retire, I guess, from fighting, I do want to
Right.
coach. Um, I teach little kids at my gym. It's called Muay Thai, and I teach 3 to 5.
What?
Yeah, I know, it's so cute. I love it. But yeah, I honestly, I think after I'm done fighting, I want to coach. Like, I think Muay Thai has just become my life, and
Yeah,
either way, without fighting or no fighting, I think I'm always going to keep Muay Thai in my life. So
that's awesome.
yeah.
That's really cool because I actually teach our kids Muay Thai program too, and that's my favorite thing that I do. I love teaching the kids. So what ages do you teach?
Well, my specific class, the class that I teach by myself, is 3 to 5 year olds, and then the class after that, is just the kids class. I think it's from about 6 to 12, and I just help Jose.
Yeah.
I assist him with that. But it's really cool to teach the kids, because that they could be they're the next generation. They could be the next great fighter. So it's really cool to share your knowledge with these little kids, and then they grow up to be the next you.
Right. No, that's super cool. I bet you do all of them like what do they think of like you when you're teaching them? Are they like are they like, "Whoa, she's so good." Like that sort of thing?
Yeah. No, I think they're so cute, and especially the girls. Their parents tell me all the time that they're really inspired by me just because I'm a girl and I'm fighting. And if I can do it, they obviously can do it, and
Yeah.
anybody can do it. So, no, I just think it's really cool that I get to share my knowledge with little kids, because like I said, they can be the next thing. So
Exactly. Yeah, that's one of the things is like personally our academy we don't have too many girl fighters. I guess we do like younger. It's like I teach a lot of girls in the kids classes. We don't and granted we've only been open for 2 years, but we don't really have like a good women's slash like girls I guess attendance. But we used to. But like what I guess what would you say is a reason that maybe some girls should get into like why like what would you say to maybe encourage people? Is a good reason for young girls or young women to maybe get into Muay Thai?
I obviously think it's good self-defense, to learn some sort of self-defense.
Yeah.
Obviously in the future, especially being a girl or a woman, all that. So I think it's really good for younger girls to join. And I think, Muay Thai right now is kind of a male dominant sport, and I think it should be an equal sport for anybody to join
Yeah.
without somebody telling them, they can't do it. So
Yeah. Yeah. So how like what's your training regimen like? Like how many days a week? I mean, obviously like with quarantine it's tough, but what like on a normal week, what is your because you're obviously you're still in school like you said. So what's your balance for training?
so during fight camp, I obviously train every day, and then on Sundays it's just kind of like my long run days.
Yeah.
But I try for fight camps, I try to train, every day. When I'm not in fight camp, I still try to, keep my fitness up and all that. So I try to train at least 5 times a week. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's awesome. So what other stuff are you into? Because I know Muay Thai is like completely like your thing, but what else like what other stuff are you into? Because obviously you're a student. I mean, what parts of school and what other activities you got going on?
I'm a runner. I do cross country. So
Nice.
yeah. So during the time when Turkey was around, which was last October, that's when cross country season is. So my schedule was so busy. I would wake up at like 5:30 in the morning because my school starts at 7 a.m. And then right after school, I would do cross country practice, which is obviously tiring because it's long distance running. And then
Yeah,
straight after cross country practice, I would go to Muay Thai and I would train for 2 hours and then go home and then do it all over again.
that's crazy. Yeah, that like fight camp for nationals would just be, I mean, with school and everything, like that's just a crazy thing to think about. So what's like the hardest, like what about Muay Thai is like the most difficult thing to you, and what do you really enjoy about it that's like a challenge? Because we were talking about a little bit, not just the Muay Thai itself is challenging, but it teaches you a lot of life lessons and stuff like that. Like what really interests you, or what do you find has really helped you a lot from Muay Thai to bring into like other parts of your life?
Well, I think that Muay Thai is very like mental more than anything. I think it's more mental than physical sometimes. I think probably the worst part for fighting is, fight camp. Obviously, that's like the hardest couple weeks to get ready for a fight because you're constantly training. You have to constantly push yourself. And I think weight cut is probably the most mental thing out of the whole thing, because I remember a couple years ago I was cutting like eight pounds, and it was really bad because I was already super skinny, so I
Yeah.
had like nothing on me, and I was in the sauna, and I just had like a full mental breakdown. Like I cried. I was so over it. I think I had 1 pound left, and it just like wouldn't come off, and I
Damn.
just cried. So but I went I pushed through it, and I lost that extra pound, and then I was good. So I think it's just once you're done with the hard part, you feel like you accomplished so much. Like I feel like after a good weight cut, you feel like you already like won the fight because you feel like you accomplished so much. So I feel like the challenge that I really like is doing something that I don't like and pushing through it, and then finishing it. And I feel good after that. So
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like you can tie that into so many aspects of life, because I just remember being a kid and doing a bunch of things and just like quitting them, and it just it can make for a really bad like mentality going forward. Like I think that idea of like you start something, you finish it is definitely is really cool.
yeah.
So yeah, going back to like the fighting a little bit, what's just because I know a lot of people are going to be interested in just like knowing like when you have somebody that you're fighting, are a lot of your fights tournament based, or is it like you're fighting this one person, you're training for this one person?
So I've only fought like not knowing who they are when I'm out of the country, but when I'm here, I know who they are. And I try to study them as much as I can,
Right.
just to see how they are or whatever, and how they fight and the way they train. So I do try to study up a little bit on who I'm fighting, and I know who I'm fighting, so I'm mentally ready. But also, I think it's cool that I don't know who I'm fighting when I'm like fighting internationally at IFMA, because you don't know
Yeah.
what you're gonna expect, and once you get in the ring, you kind of have to figure out how their style is and the way they fight. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, I haven't had that experience personally. I feel like I've known everybody that I was going to fight, and I would think I would like the other way more, like not knowing, because then it's like you sketch yourself out. You're like looking them up on Instagram and stuff like that, and you're like,
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that, because sometimes I'm in fight camp and I know who I'm fighting, and I'll look them up, and I'll like, you know, it messes with my head sometimes. So I rather almost not know who I'm fighting, just get in the ring and figure it out while I'm in the ring, what kind of fighter they are. And, you know, I think that's just better for me, to be honest. I fight better that way.
yeah, I feel you on that. So what do people like at school and class think? I mean, I assume a lot of people know you're like a Muay Thai fighter. Like I remember for me, I wasn't even a fighter at this point. I was just training martial arts, and everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, like he's like the martial arts kid." And I was like, "Dude, I'm not even that good. Like I just do this for fun." So that's why I guess people who are more fighters and really like train and they're like all about that life. I mean, what do people around you think? Like, what do your friends think, or just like people at school and stuff like that?
Honestly, people think I'm mean. People
Really?
legit think I'm mean. Like, people won't talk to me because they think I'm mean. And then once they're friends with me, they're like, "You're actually kind of nice." I'm like, "I know. I'm not purposely mean." But
Well,
I mean, for the most part, they think it's cool. Like, no one really does Muay Thai. I've don't like someone. I've never met someone in my school that has done Muay Thai. So obviously, it's definitely not the normal sport that kids do. But they think it's cool for the most part. Yeah,
that's funny. Well, it's because you got all those badass pictures where you're like looking all like tough on Instagram and stuff like that.
I know. I'm like, I swear, I'm not mean. I'm nice. I'm a nice person.
Yeah. So what about like your parents? Like, did either of your parents do martial arts or anything like that, or did they encourage you to get into it at a young age, or was it just like all you? I know you talked about it a little bit earlier, but
Well, obviously, my dad pushed me to be doing it, and he did an MMA fight once, and that was it. But they fully support me in what I do and my dreams and all that. They never pushed me in any way to do it. If I wanted to quit, I could have quit,
right.
but it was kind of just me that wanted to do it and push through the whole time.
Yeah. No, it's really cool. Like I think it's cool that you're doing it at such a young age because I mean and going off that, is it something that I mean like do you have aspirations to do this for after school? Like I don't know. Personally, like where I'm going with this is when I was in high school, everybody and I talk about this a lot and people hear it, but it's part of my story. But you know, everyone kind of like knows what they want to do in high school or at least says it. And and I always felt like I was behind because I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I like. But for you, is Muay Thai that thing, or do you have something that you really enjoy that you want to do, kind of after, I guess, high school?
So yeah, I really don't know what I'm doing after high school. I'm one of those people that I really don't know, and I'm not gonna act like I know what I'm doing, but I really don't.
Right.
I constantly think about it, like, you know, what I'm gonna do because I'm graduating 2 years, so I gotta kind of have to figure it out. But I really want to keep up Muay Thai as a career.
Yeah.
I obviously want to make money off that. Like, I want that to be my living. Um, I don't know. I haven't thought of backup yet. I'm really like committed into Muay Thai. I don't think I want to do anything different for now. So
That's awesome. That's what I was kind of getting at. And also it's one of those things like you shouldn't know what you want to do necessarily.
yeah,
So don't feel pressure about that. It's one of those things that people will say, but never feel pressure to do that. I was also wondering if like that's where you were planning on going Muay Thai, if you wanted to do it professional and kind of make a living that way. So that's cool. I'm glad.
yeah,
But yeah, that was always one of those things for me that always like ate at me. It's like, oh, I gotta figure out what I want to do. If it is Muay Thai, like that's really awesome that you found it yet. But if it's not, and if it is Muay Thai and something else, then don't stress it because that stuff
right.
will. Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like if I figure out what I'm gonna do now, my mindset might change by the time I'm a senior. So
it
like, what if
will.
I'm totally committed into doing something, and then I change my mind? Then it's like too late because I'm already like picking out colleges and all that. You know what I mean? So I
Exactly.
feel like, if you decide what you want to do too early, I feel like it's just kind of gonna like mess everything up. Because what if you change your mind later on? So
Exactly. And the truth is like most people do, even in college, like the what do you call it? The major like
yeah,
the major change rate is like 75%. So it's one of those things that I don't know. I'm not a fan of college. People know that, but it is for
I'm not a fan of school at all either. So I don't know if I want to do the whole schooling thing. I mean, if I have to, if I end up changing my mind later on, and want to do something else that involves me doing school, then I'll have to suck it up and do it. But I'm not a fan of like the whole school thing either. So
well, that's what I think is really cool too. I admire people who are always stepping outside the box. Like that's like to the logo, like the dividing yourself from the norm and really like finding what you love is what I'm all about. And it's what my company and brand is all about. So that's why also why I really wanted to have you on because the school route isn't for everybody. I went to like 4 high school, middle schools, and like 5 colleges before I found out that I knew I hated school, but it's just one of those things that it's cool for me to see someone your age like following their passion and really doing something that they love. And I encourage like more people to do that and not feel like college is this inevitable thing that you don't have to go to college if you don't want to go to
yeah,
college, you know?
no, I feel like there's a lot of things that you can do without college. That people think that like you have to go to college to be able to do this job, but like there's plenty of jobs that you can do that don't involve college or don't involve schooling. So I think there's definitely a lot of options that people can do.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, but is like so teaching is something you want to always continue doing as far as like right now is concerned. Like you really love that too.
Yeah, I feel like when I'm older and I'm done fighting, I've reached the end of it. I think I definitely want to keep coaching up. Maybe even open up my own gym someday. I think that'd be really cool. So I feel like in the long run, I feel like that's also another dream that I want to do. So yeah, I mean, I actually really enjoy teaching. I like spreading knowledge or what I know to
Yeah,
kids or even adults sometimes. So
yeah,
yeah, I think that's definitely what I want to do in the long run.
that's awesome. So what what was I gonna say? Um, but yeah, yeah, teaching something that I feel like you are gonna always be able to do because of even like the spot you're at now. Like you could stop Muay Thai forever and always teach because you have so much knowledge and stuff like that. So that's cool. Honestly, I love teaching more than I love training and fighting and competing. Like teaching is cool. So to be able to have that to fall back on is nice.
Yeah.
So let's see. So I mean, like, what's your ultimate goal with Muay Thai? I mean, do you have like goals that you are really looking to achieve, or is it kind of one of those things like you're just training and fighting, and then whatever happens happens?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I think my ultimate goal is to fight in one championship. I think that's
Right.
my goal, and obviously get the belt in Muay Thai. I started watching one championship fights about maybe like a year ago, and then I started getting like really into it. And since I've been watching it, and I'm fanning over Stamp Fairtex and Rodtang. They're my two favorite fighters in one championship. So um, just to like, I look up to them a lot, and I want to be like them, now and even when I'm older. So
Yeah. Are there any girl fighters that you look up to, or that you kind of, yeah, I guess look up to?
yeah, I really look up to Stamp Fairtex. I like I didn't realize this, but a while ago she had her like own Netflix thing. And I think it was called Buffalo Girls, and it was like a documentary of her when she was little. But I didn't realize that was her until like I
No
started
way.
following up on her more. And I really liked that documentary. And then once I started watching One Championship, and started watching her, and I really liked her, I realized that was her. I'm like, wow, she's really like grown up to doing Muay Thai. So I think she reminds me a lot of me. She reminds me a lot of me, and I just want to be like her when I'm older. And maybe if she's still doing Muay Thai, once I get into one championship, which is my goal, maybe I'll have to fight her someday. So
That would be crazy.
yeah, I know.
That's such a wild thing to look at someone like that and know that there'd be a chance you could like compete against them one day, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so let's see what has been something maybe like during quarantine that you've had to, because I mean you're used to training almost every day, if not every day. So what's been like an adjustment as far as training that you've had to overcome?
Well, I've had to make my own like home gym over this because we really don't know how long this is gonna end.
Right, right.
So I think it's good just to make like a whole home gym now. Um, I'm ordering bags and stuff. I even made my own bag till the meantime while my bag comes in. Um, it's definitely challenging not going to the gym every day. Um, making my own gym and not having someone, coaching me and standing right next to me yelling at me about what I'm doing wrong.
Right.
So, I definitely miss that. I think during, quarantine, it really teaches you to stay motivated the whole time
Mm,
because you could, I've definitely had a couple of days where I'm just like staying in my room, staying in bed. I'm like, I really need to work out. I'm being lazy. I really need to get up and work out. So I feel like during this, it really taught me to stay motivated the whole time and, not get lazy. And it could also help when I'm actually training when all this is over because it can teach me to stay motivated and keep pushing through during training and all that. So
yeah, I feel like that's what, your guys' gym, like Jose, you guys go so hard. So I feel like the discipline and a lot of the dedication that you guys have from training, I'm sure that like kind of comes in the back end, like when you're home, like that just like discipline, motivation in your head just kind of kicks in, you know?
yeah, his voice is just in my ear telling me to get out of bed and go train. I can hear him. But
Yeah,
yeah,
so
it's definitely different. Like I'm used to, being pushed in the gym and now I have to push myself. So it's
yeah.
definitely different.
So what's your guys' gym culture like? I mean, I know you guys, it's a very, intense. You guys have like many fighters, people who fight stuff like that, even like younger kids. But like really little. Like how old is what's that? The
When
yeah, yeah.
he's 12, I think 11 or 12.
Yeah, you guys got so what's like that training style like? I mean, is it super intense like it seems?
So yeah, Jose's rule is it doesn't matter what age you are. I'm not here to babysit you. If you're here, you're gonna give your 100%. That's just how it's always been. And I've been with him since I was 9, so I've always kind of been disciplined and learned to know that. So I know not to mess around in the gym and just stay focused, the whole time and give my 100% when I'm there. So I mean, it's not like too intense, but if you listen, follow the rules, and do what you're supposed to do during sparring and training, then you're good.
Yeah, yeah.
Just do what you're supposed to do, and you're good.
So how often? Because a lot of the people you went to for the nationals with are younger than you, right?
Yeah. So my teammates, I was the oldest out of my teammates from my gym. The other ones, Quinn was there.
Right.
I really don't know how. I think he's 11 or 12. And then the other two are Michael and Jacob, and they are 13 years old.
So do you train typically with people more your age? Do you train with older people typically, younger? How does your training work? Like who are you usually getting rounds with and stuff like that?
It's kind of different. Sometimes, like during sparring, we have a junior team, so it's obviously Quinn and Michael and Jake, which they're like 12, 13, and then we have our oldest, which is Travis, which I think you follow him on Instagram.
Yeah, I know Travis a little bit.
He's just turned 18, so he's
Nice.
our oldest on the fight team, or on our junior fight team, which I guess he's not a junior anymore, but he's, in our group, he's the oldest. So I usually train with him. Sometimes I train with adults, but we have our group sparring sessions sometimes. So like everybody goes with everybody. So like a junior can go with an adult and we spar, we tech spar. So
Do people do people from your gym or people in general just think you're a lot older? Because I feel like you carry yourself as like very mature, like beyond your years, even though I mean you are 16, but yeah.
yeah, a lot of people think I'm older, at least like 18. And even when I was like maybe 13 or 14, people thought I was like 16, 17. So people always thought I was a couple years older.
Right. Why do you think that is? You think it's because of Muay Thai, or you think it's just like the way you carry yourself, or what?
Well, I obviously try to carry myself very, professionally, of course, around the Muay Thai community. I feel like, you always should stay professional. But, I obviously try to carry myself, to be a young adult. Everybody's watching you, especially, that I'm kind of known. Everybody's watching you. So, you can't really slip up. You have to, stay professional. So, I mean, I try not to act older. I just try to act my age, I guess. But, always people always think I'm older. So,
Yeah, that's cool. What's one thing that like really excites you about getting back to Muay Thai? Like, is there anything specifically that you miss the most, just about training or fighting or
I
anything?
just, I miss my teammates. I just miss being around them. I feel like when you're by yourself, it feels kind of like lonely because you're pushing yourself. But when you're around your teammates, your teammates push you. They give you motivation. They give good vibes around. So I feel like good vibes and them helping you stay motivated. I feel like that's what I miss the most is the feeling that I have other people around me to help me. That's
Yeah,
kind
for
of what I
sure.
miss the most.
For sure, for sure. So let's see. I guess I wanted to get into a little bit more just about kind of just little bit touch on more of like that kind of fight mentality and like just the fact that knowing you're going up against someone else. So how was it? How was the dynamic when you were overseas, like in Turkey, for example? Were you around the people that you were fighting? Like, did you get an opportunity to see them fighting it? And like, what's that like knowing that you have to fight somebody else who's also representing their country? It's almost like it's so much more than you, but it isn't, but it is, you know?
It's definitely a lot of pressure, especially since you're representing your country and you're fighting a different country. But kind of the way it works is you kind of, I guess in Turkey how it worked was you could kind of see who you're fighting online. So
Oh,
like you could see their faces. So like I remember in Turkey I was trying to like find the face that was on there who I'm fighting, see like if they look familiar. So I definitely, especially the day that you weigh in, um, the day that you weigh in, you can see your person sitting right next to you pretty much, so that you're fighting. So yeah,
damn.
it's
So,
kind of nerve wracking because
yeah,
like they're from a different country, and like you said, they're representing their own country, so they have a lot of pressure. I have a lot of pressure. Our country has a lot of pressure. So definitely nerve wracking to see someone from a different country, that you're about to fight. But like I said earlier, once you get in the ring, I feel like all the nerves goes away. You're in the fight.
yeah. So like going off of that, what like when you're in the fight, like what's going through your head? Because I know it at like a way lesser level, but what's really going through your head? I mean, is it just like the repetitions are just coming and you're not really thinking, or is there like tons of thinking that you're doing while you're in there fighting people?
I really try not to think because I'm one of those people that if I overthink, I, you know, mess up everything, which
Right.
I've have definitely had a couple of fights where I've overthinked too much and then I ended up losing the fight because I just overthinked it too much.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happened honestly when I was out in Turkey and I fought Russia. I think I just, I lost the first round and then after that I was overthinking and I started doubting myself and since, after that um, I lost the second round, and I knew that the only way to win was to knock her out. And I tried knocking her out, and I ended up winning the third round, but still obviously wasn't enough because I was overthinking. But
Right.
I would just say, like, in a fight, I don't want to overthink. I don't want to overthink my combinations. You know, we drill the combination so much in the gym that it's just in our heads. So whenever we see an opening that we, obviously trained, we know what to do
Yeah.
because of the drills that we've trained so many times. So it's just like repetition in the gym so much that it's just like mentally in our head. So we like know exactly what to do.
Right. So what's like a part that people wouldn't know unless they fought people that you think is very like underrated? So maybe it is that idea of like don't overthink, or maybe is there something else that people don't realize is such a hard part about fighting someone else? Is there anything else that is really people don't realize until you've gotten in there?
Um, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm one of those people that like once you get in there, everything kind of all your thoughts kind of just go away and you're in the fight. But yeah, everyone's different. So I mean, I guess the best advice I could give to other people is just like don't overthink once you're in the ring. Because
Yeah.
once you're in the ring, I mean, I'm one of those people that kind of live in the moment. I don't want to think about the future, what's going to happen after the fight or
Yeah.
during the fight. I just want to live now. So like while I'm waiting for the fight to start, I'm in my corner. I don't want to overthink about what combination am I gonna throw during
Right.
the fight. I want to live in that moment. And once the fight starts, I'm gonna live in that moment and see what's open and all that. So
Yeah.
I try not to overthink about what's gonna happen next. I just kind of stay focused, keep my eyes open, and whatever's there is there.
Yeah, I remember my last fight. Jose helped me a lot, to not get an adrenaline dump. I think the thing for me, like only having a few fights, is like the adrenaline dump of the nerves. Like right when you get in there, is a lot for me. Do you get anything like that anymore, or is that just like you're past that stage?
I don't think anybody could ever be past that stage. I feel like that's just how it's always going to be.
Yeah,
I mean, I've obviously fought quite a few times all over the world. So I still get nervous, even if it's just like a fight that is a couple states away from mine. It's still just the fight in general is just nerve wracking before. But I try to use the adrenaline as a good way, just to
yeah,
pump me up instead of making me nervous. But
right.
I feel like before the fight is already the fight. Like it's just a mental battle.
Yeah,
So I feel like if you beat yourself up before, you already lost the fight.
yeah, yeah. That's so true. I think, yeah, that's one of those things that like for me, I think people don't realize, but it's like the hardest part is the anticipation and like everything up until the fight, and then the fight is more, I guess, those reps, and obviously that's at a different level. I feel like at a high level, it's obviously even more intense, but that was one of the things for me that stood out, was just like the preparation is can be super nerve-wracking.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I guess like one of the last things, like what there was something else I was gonna say. I'll probably think of it. But what is something that you've learned, whether it's from Muay Thai or from life, that you feel like the listeners can take as some advice that you've learned?
I honestly think mentality is just like one of the most important things through Muay Thai, through life. I feel like, if you constantly overthink and have a weak mentality, you know, everything, all the battles that you go through are just gonna, you're gonna lose it. But I feel like if you have a good, strong mentality and you don't overthink, you can get through anything. I feel like even like, tough situations, I feel like if you have a good mentality through it and you think positive, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
So one of my main things that I like to focus on is just staying positive, even when things, suck, even when things are, sad. I try to still think positive about things and know that in the end it's going to be okay.
Absolutely. I feel like that's huge for people to hear right now too, because obviously there's a lot of people like down in the dumps, like losing their job, or they can't go to school, or whatever the case is. And so I think that's something that I try to spread, is just positivity, like mindset. So I think that people can definitely benefit from that a lot. I think that's really good advice.
Yeah, it's been really hard, especially, all of a sudden I can't go to school. And obviously,
Yeah.
high school is, supposed to be the greatest 4 years of your life, and then you're kind of missing out on it. So,
Right.
it kind of sucks, obviously, but, I'm just trying to stay positive. I've been staying connected with my friends from
Good.
school and staying connected with my teammates from the gym. So I've been just doing everything I possibly can to, stay in contact with the people that I love and
Yeah.
just staying positive through it.
That's really awesome. Is there anything else that you want to wrap up with? That's pretty much, a lot of the stuff I wanted to cover, but was there anything that we missed that you really wanted to share with people that maybe they don't know about you, anything like that?
I don't know. I think that's it.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. I really appreciate you making time for this. So yeah, this will be on all streaming platforms. And then where can people find you on like social media and your academy and stuff like that?
So I have both Instagram and Facebook, and so does Eastside. So I think if you just type in, Eastside Muay Thai on Instagram and on Muay Thai, I'm on Facebook, you'll find it. And then also my Instagram is, I have no idea what my Instagram is, Summer_B, something like that. And then you can just type in my name on Facebook, Summer Bronco. So, I'm easy to find, and so is my gym. So
Awesome. Yeah, you guys are awesome. And Jose's been, he's, someone I look up to a lot. So yeah, thank you again so much. You did it. You made it to the end of the episode. Thank you guys so much for listening or watching the podcast. Be sure to go like it, subscribe, share, all that stuff that you're supposed to say at the end of the podcast. Thank you guys again, and stay tuned every Thursday, powerful1.com/podcast, or on the Instagram page at powerful0ne powerful1. Thank you guys again. And again, last thing, if you guys are interested in being on the podcast, hit me up. If you got a cool story and feel like you really fit the mold for Powerful One, hit me up. We'll get you on the podcast. Thank you guys. Stay safe.